My Lords, way back in 2004, I was the Deputy Mayor of London, when there was only one Deputy Mayor, not a whole host of them. And in that role, I attended Dicey, the arms fair. And what struck me was there was a terrifying amount of military equipment that was being sold and then repurposed for use by police forces and governments against their own citizens. And now that was a few years ago, and I imagine the situation is much worse since. And on another occasion, I was outside a kettle in Whitehall chatting to a senior police officer there and trying to give him some good advice about how to communicate with the crowd. And he had a phone call, and he stepped away to take it. And when he came back, he said, "I've just been told not to speak to you anymore." And I said, "Who by?" And he pointed at the helicopter that had been flying over us. And that was the first time I realised just how powerful the cameras were. So they'd not only been able to photograph me, but also recognise me, which from the top of my head I would have thought almost impossible. But there is always a great amount of mission creep with this type of technology, and people can get carried away with it. Our own Prime Minister infamously wasted hundreds of thousands of pounds of public money buying illegal water cannons when he was Mayor of London. They ended up rotting down in Kent, and I'm not sure we ever managed to sell them. Perhaps we sold them for scrap. And as far as I know, there is still no oversight or regulation of the facial recognition technology. I'd be very interested if the noble lady, the Minister, could tell me that, because I have been agitating for that for some time. Now, Amendment 132B would help bring the commissioning and procurement of weapons, surveillance equipment and investigatory technology under the supervision of the government, whom, of course, we all trust. This is so important. It's so important to ensure that these technologies are commissioned in a coherent way, with the proper political oversight and judgment that's needed. Ultimately, these are questions of the balance of power between the state and the population, and personally I'd like to see even greater oversight. Perhaps even a Lords Select Committee should be set up to consider these issues and make recommendations. And so I do hope that the government will listen to us on this issue.